That's actually not what I was doing. I was writing her answers here and what I want to talk to you about here. But you can't get wigged out by people. So, you know, but on the other hand, you got to know that people are people, and they're going to look at each other, and one person's going to look at their watch, and it doesn't mean they're not interested. It just means it might be the 8th interview of a day, or you got a crisis in the office, or whatever it is. So you got to stay on, knowing that they're pretty on. They're not always on. Right?
Thank you. Okay, are we done? Are we good? Singing my praises, yes? Okay, now, come on, give me constructive feedback. What could I have done better? She's ready! See that? She has a hand up.
I'm interviewing you next.
Tell us.
That, but I think you could have slowed down on the
Okay, I was saying a lot.
Yes, that's the only thing I saw that was good.
Okay, and that's true. That's true. And we're going, what is a way to minimize the odds?
Practice.
Be prepared.
Okay, practice and be prepared. Be prepared in what way?
Use other words.
Prepare with some of the questions you might think they can ask.
Oh, really?
You what?
Be prepared with answers to the questions I think you're going to ask me, which is, ta-da, the assignment for tonight. The assignment for this week, which is the homework, which is answering the basic interview questions, okay? So that's our lecture after we come back from break. We'll be going over those questions, okay? But you're right, I could have been more prepared with that. And in all honesty, I didn't. I did not go through those, I didn't go through them before I came into interview. So good. Thank you. Oh no, I'm not mad at all. Not at all. I want you guys to, this is good for you.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, Andrew. Wait, no. You got to contribute. I need to hear from somebody else who has not said anything. Got something to say? Ms. Arian? No? Yes.
I kind of asked a question, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. When he asked about how you feel at something, and it doesn't have to be about a job, it could be about anything in your life, because I always thought that like they wanted to know something in your experience of work that you've done, and it doesn't have to be. It could just be a...
No, I think it depends. You know, if I'm interviewing a vice president of operations and he starts telling me about a teacher in high school, I would think like he can't think of one thing from the last 20 years of work experience. But if you're interviewing people out of college, for me, it's very often about either part-time work experience or school or a home situation. I think people tend to be fair, right? You know, I don't walk into an interview with somebody straight out of college and expect them to say, you know, tell me about your experience in designing a supply chain solution for a Fortune 100 company, right? So that's not going to be the case, right? So, and then typically on the behavioral stuff, you know, that's why I always preface, I'm going to ask behavioral questions, because it's absolutely okay. You can, you know, if the positional, you know, tell me about a boss, a situation, that's why I also said, you know, a boss or somebody in a position of power, that could be a teacher, that could be a parent, that could be a whole bunch of things. So I think if you can draw on work experience, it's always good. You know, for me, you know, I didn't have a lot of work experience when I started, and I always say that I wouldn't hire me. but now I'm sort of picky about that. I want to at least know that people have done something while they were in school, whether it was a job or whether they were involved in a hobby or sport or have a passion. I interviewed one young lady here. I don't think she's here today.
No. New class.
New class, okay.
Just don't say her name.
She interviewed exceptionally well here. And I don't know, I said, do you have any hobbies? She goes, oh yeah, I started this foundation with a friend of mine and we're really involved in, you know, this work. And I'm like, why would you not weave that in? I mean, even if I don't ask you, if I say, you know, tell me about a time when, say, well, I started this foundation. That's so incredibly valuable because it talks about passion, it talks about work ethic, it talks about the ability to multitask. So there's always something to draw from.
No, you know what? I was looking, okay, time of failure. Time of failure, okay. A lot of times people see, you know, drop out of high school is a failure. I was trying to remember, because I was trying to stick to the 2 jobs I had on there. You know, I couldn't talk about stuff that wasn't on the resume. So it was taking me too long. It was taking me too long. So I could have given him some other examples that were work related, but they weren't on the resume. So
No, I just
thanks for the
wanted to
question.
know if that was something that you should.
Okay, wait, let's make sure, wait. We'll get to questions, but let's make sure, what else, is there anything else I could have done better?
It has to do with it.
Okay,
I thought that when you were writing your comments or for the following letter, I think while he was speaking, you were looking down a little bit too long. I was wondering, is there a time limit you think, like, should you look at the person and write at the same time? Or is it 2-3 seconds? Or, because I think there are times when he was actually saying a full sentence and you kind of right, like you were trying to get what he was saying. Is that okay to lose so much time for eye contact with the interviewer?
Yeah, my perspective on that, I can do what I want because I'm interviewing, but I'm sort of with you on that. What I would suggest is, after the question's done, say, do you mind if I just take 20 seconds to write down some notes? That's totally okay before they get to their next question.
Right.
I didn't see that, but if I had noticed that Ruth was like this while I'm talking, that probably would have bothered me. I didn't notice it there, but it's sort of just one word type stuff. If you could sort of do that, and what would bother me as much is if she'd done this. I would get more weighed down by that, to be honest. My wife can read upside down and write and do some of that. I can't. That wakes me out. But, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't like it if that was.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's related to something that you could have done better.
okay.
I noticed that you only asked him 3 questions, okay? One was related to the fuel, which was very specific to the organization. And then the other 2 were what qualifications, did he think were well suited and which ones he had concerns over. My question is, you didn't ask him specific questions about the job itself. And I don't know if that's typical, if that's normal, or if that's something you could have done better. Because I think that, the organization is important, and I think that fitting into the organization, the culture, the goals of the company are important. But whether you're going to enjoy the job itself, I think is also important. So I found it interesting that you didn't ask very specific questions about the job function.
Good, I like that. Okay, so you're right. I didn't.
Oh, do I get one now?
Yes.
That was a long word.
Yes. Wait, let's talk about that in a second. Okay, so I didn't ask the question about the specific job. Okay, you're right. And you can. Okay. When you ask questions, though, I want you to keep it to 3 to 4. Okay.
Can you give us an example, like what would be a question you
That I could ask about the specific question? Okay. I've read, for example, I could have said, I've reviewed what's on the website in terms of the GROW program. Can you give me a little bit of, and you also told me that you take 3 to 4 participants from the different continents to come together as a group.
Which, by the way, I have no idea if that's true or not.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay, but I might have asked him to tell me a little bit about, in the 18-month program, how is that managed in terms of length of time? Am I in one country for 2 weeks and then in someplace else? So could you tell me a little bit more? There's some basic, I understand there's some various stages. Is there some additional information or some type of orientation that I can have, because I want to make sure that I'm prepared. I have my passport, but what, am I going to come back home during the 18 months, or am I just gone for 18 months and I belong to you?